Right now, somewhere in your skull, a 3-pound organ is working overtime to make sure you never become extraordinary. Not because it hates you, because it thinks average is safe. And today, you're going to meet the enemy hiding behind your own eyes. Here are 7 neuroscience facts about why your brain keeps you average and exactly how to override every single one of them. Fact 1. Your brain is wired for energy conservation. Not Gretnish. Human brain makes up about 2% of your body weight, but it burns roughly 20% of your daily energy. To your brain, this is a crisis waiting to happen. So it built a survival strategy: do the least amount of thinking necessary to get through the day. This is why new habits feel exhausting and old habits feel like breathing. Your brain isn't lazy by accident, it's lazy by design. Every unfamiliar task, every ambitious goal, every moment you try to grow, your brain treats it like a threat to its energy budget. It would rather you scroll for 2 hours than write for 20 minutes, because scrolling requires zero executive function while writing requires focus, costly neural effort. This is the first war you have to win. Growth will always feel harder than comfort, not because something is wrong with you, but because your brain is accounting for calories, not dreams. Fact 2. The basal ganglia turns repetition into a prison. Inside your brain sits a structure called the basal ganglia. Its job is to take repeated behaviors and convert them into automatic loops so your conscious mind doesn't have to manage them. This is how you learn to walk, tie your shoes, and drive without thinking. But here's the trap. The basal ganglia doesn't care if the loop it automates is good or bad for you. It will automate procrastination just as efficiently as it automates discipline. Once a pattern is grooved in checking your phone the second you wake up, doubting yourself before you speak, quitting right before things get hard, that pattern becomes the default setting your brain reaches for under stress. This is why willpower alone rarely works long term. You're not fighting a single bad decision. You're fighting a loop that has been reinforced hundreds or thousands of times. The only way out is repetition in the opposite direction, until the new loop becomes the automatic one. Fact 3. Your amygdala punishes you for standing out. Amygdala is your brain's alarm system, built to detect threats. For most of human history, the biggest threat wasn't a predator, it was social rejection. Being cast out of the tribe meant almost certain death. So your amygdala evolved to treat social exposure, judgment, and standing out as dangerous as a physical attack. This is why the fear of public speaking outranks the fear of death for many people. It's why posting your work online, pitching an idea, or setting a boundary can trigger a real physiological stress response: racing heart, tight chest, shaky hands. Your amygdala doesn't know the difference between a lion and a comment section. It fires the same alarm either way. Average people obey the alarm. They shrink back to blend in, because blending in feels safe. The people who become exceptional aren't the ones without fear, they're the ones who've trained themselves to act while the alarm is still ringing. Fact 4. Dopamine rewards comfort more than addiction. Dopamine is often called the reward chemical, but that's misleading. Dopamine isn't about pleasure, it's about anticipation and motivation. And modern life has hijacked it. Notifications, junk food, short videos, and instant validation deliver small, frequent dopamine hits that are far easier to access than the delayed reward of mastering a skill or building a business. Your brain doesn't naturally prefer the difficult win. It prefers the fastest, most reliable hit available. This is why an hour of short-form content feels effortless while an hour of deep work feels like dragging a boulder uphill, even though the deep work is what actually changes your life. Every time you choose the 15-second dopamine hit over the delayed reward, you're training your brain to expect the fast version. And a brain trained on fast rewards will always feel bored by slow, meaningful progress. This is one of the quiet reasons so many talented people stay stuck at average. Their reward system has been recalibrated by convenience. Fact 5. Neuroplasticity cuts both ways. Neuroscience, your brain's ability to physically rewire itself based on experience, is usually talked about as good news. And it is. It means you can build new skills, new habits, new identities at almost any age. But plasticity is neutral. It rewires your brain toward whatever you repeatedly do, think, or feel good or bad. If you rehearse self-doubt every day, your brain gets more efficient at generating self-doubt. If you rehearse excuses, your brain gets faster at producing excuses. The same mechanism that could build you into someone exceptional is, for most people, quietly building the opposite one repeated thought at a time without them ever noticing. This is why environment and repetition matter more than motivation. Motivation is temporary. But every repeated thought or action is a literal vote for which version of your brain gets stronger. Fact 6. The prefrontal cortex is expensive and easily overridden. Prefrontal cortex is responsible for planning, delayed gratification, and long-term decision-making, everything required to escape average. But it's also the most metabolically expensive part of your brain, and the first to go offline under stress, fatigue, or overwhelm. When you're exhausted, hungry, or emotionally drained, your brain quietly hands control over to older, more primitive systems focused on immediate survival and comfort. This is why your best intentions collapse at night, when willpower is lowest and the prefrontal cortex is running on fumes. It's not a character flaw. It's biology choosing short-term stability over long-term ambition. People who consistently perform above average aren't relying on raw willpower late at night. They design their environment and schedule so the important decisions happen when the prefrontal cortex is strongest early in the day, well-rested, low stress, instead of gambling on willpower after it's already depleted. Fact 7. Your brain runs on a predictive model, not reality. Here's the deepest fact of all. Your brain doesn't experience the world directly. It builds a predictive model based on past experience and then interprets everything new through that model. If your model says, "I'm not the kind of person who succeeds," your brain will unconsciously filter, dismiss, or self-sabotage any evidence that contradicts it, because contradicting the model costs energy and creates internal conflict. This is why two people can face the identical opportunity and one sees a door while the other sees a wall. It's not the opportunity that's different. It's the predictive model interpreting it. Average isn't just a set of habits, it's a self-reinforcing identity your brain protects, the same way it protects any other belief it has built its predictions around. The moment you understand this, everything changes. Your brain isn't a fixed enemy. It's a prediction machine, and prediction machines update when you feed them new evidence, new actions, repeated consistently, until the model itself has no choice but to change. So here's the truth. Your brain didn't make you average. It made you safe. Average was never a personal failure, it was a survival algorithm running exactly as designed, thousands of years after the world it was designed for stopped existing. But now you know the code. Energy conservation, automated loops, social threat detection, cheap dopamine, neutral plasticity, an expensive prefrontal cortex, and a predictive model resistant to change. 7 mechanisms. All learnable. All capable of being retrained. The people you call exceptional aren't operating on different biology. They've simply stopped negotiating with these 7 systems and started training them instead. The question isn't whether your brain is working against you. It always has been, quietly, in the background. The question is whether you're finally going to notice and do something about it, starting today. If this gave you a new way to see yourself, subscribe to Rise with Facts, because next episode goes even deeper into the psychology no one taught you.